So, what's up, everyone? We are coming to you live on a bright and sunny day today, not a dark day as usual. I'm one of the hosts of the show, Hayes, aka Shifty, with the one, the only Steven at Steven_Springs. Not curry chicken, not goat chicken, not sweet and spicy chicken. Lakers in five. How you been, man?
Doing good, brother. Wife and kids are out all week, so
Mm-hmm.
that's
Is it spring
exciting.
break for you guys?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, it is spring break. Um, Not a whole lot to say. I'm gonna save my master's thing for the what you got, but
Okay.
other than that, nothing, man. Yeah, let's dive into it. What's first?
Okay. So, kind of going off the cusp. I want to give everyone just kind of the outline of how it goes. It might mess up Stevens, what you got, because I do have some Masters talk I want to talk about. I was in Sweden towards the tail end, so of course people here were texting me thinking I'm like the biggest golf fan when I only hear about it for the betting component and then certain players in the Masters. But we'll get to that. First thing I do want to say is thank you to everyone that's been listening, tuning in to some of our videos. Steven, just to give you some sort of idea how they've gone. So we did one last week, if you remember, talking about March Madness and then talking about the Final Four and some of the games that happened. That got close to 1,500 views. So that's kind of one thing. Another one is we talked about the Lakers and their potential title chances. That got around 840 views. So that's just two in itself. I did one the other day. I wanted to save some people Steven's thoughts. I did one on the WNBA draft, and
Of
that
course you
got
did. Of
that
course
one
you did.
got 1,000 views. So it's been hitting the way we've been doing it. Again, I say it time and time again. We missed out so long ago. Whereas if I would have realized this, we could have been doing these short clips the whole time. But we found it and we're kind of going to go forward. I've seen subscribers increase because of it. We've seen views increase and we've also seen interaction and engagement just from it. So we're going to keep going with that. So to anyone that does not know, make sure to end up just doing shorts. You'll get a lot more traction from it. And then a lot of people just love the short clips in itself. First thing I got to bring up, and then we can dive into anything, is Nico Harris. I don't know if you all out there have paid attention to what happened. So Nico Harris held a press conference, no cameras, no phones. So it was essentially just you and him. So nothing else. Big game of telephone. This being said, number one, he did not do this trade for the fans or Dirk Nowitzki. He did this trade for the Mavericks. First things first, you are paid by the fans. Nothing happens without the fans, basically. And then for you to say that, you're just saying whatever the hell you want to say. Second part, which anyone that believes this or thinks that he's telling the truth, he's lying. He said he has no regrets about the trade. Do you think you're ever going to come out and admit to the public you ever regret about the trade? Like the moment you do that, you lose any credibility you still had. So, kind of, what are your thoughts on my guy Nico out there?
He's never gonna live this one down,
Ever?
especially if, I mean, if AD and Kyrie are healthy next year, which I wouldn't put money on, and they make a run, potentially win a title, have a great season, whatever. Like, if the Lakers win a title this year, it's immediately over. I mean, we all know the trade was ridiculous, anyways, but there's no coming back from that one. So it's been a tough
No.
stretch for people in the Nico lately. But I mean, especially
Mm-hmm.
that game against the
In the
Lakers.
Nico world, you're right.
Yeah, that game against the Lakers, and they kept showing Nico Harris standing in the tunnel. He just looked defeated. And
Yeah.
the people of Dallas, loud as can be, yelling "Fire Nico."
Mm-hmm.
Mark Cuban looked miserable the whole game. Um, I mean, it's tough when you're 25-year-old megastar, top 5 player in the league type of player, MVP caliber player, dropping 45 on you a few months after you traded him.
I know.
It's tough, but he's never. I mean, that's going to be really tough to beat in terms of like a general manager making moves like that. It's going to
Yep.
be tough to beat. Speaking of that, general managers making moves. The Pelicans are going to be hiring. It looks like Joe Dumars to
What are
be
your thoughts?
their president. So I'm a huge Pistons fan, obviously. So I
Yeah.
appreciate Joe Dumars, and he put together that Pistons team in the early to mid 2000s that went to I think 6 straight conference finals, went to the NBA
Hmm.
finals twice, got a title. So I'm very appreciative of that. Um, Obviously, when he left, things went to shit, but whatever. I would absolutely, and I tweeted this out, I would absolutely welcome a trade to bring Zion to Detroit. Um,
Hmm.
I think if he's healthy, of course, he's a problem. And everyone knows that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think to pair him with Cade Cunningham as running mates, get Jaden Ivey in there as well. Coming off a broken leg. Don't know how he's going to be. We'll have to wait and see. But a running mate with Cade Cunningham, like Zion, I
Hmm.
mean, look, dude. Because there's no one else on the team on the Pistons roster that like Zion would be taking the place of because no one else is gonna
Hmm.
would get buckets like Zion would get from Cade. Now
Right.
they'd have to get rid of one of those pieces. They'd have to get rid of one of their young pieces, which you take the good with the bad with that. If you have to give away Jalen Duren or Isaiah Stewart, whatever, um, to get a healthy Zion Williamson, that kind of cancels out a little bit. So that's a totally different topic. But um, yeah, like I said, tough stretch for people named Nico these days.
So funny enough, because next thing on the list, because we're moving the Masters down a little bit, is Nico, the former University of
Unbelievable.
Tennessee one. Number one, couple of things. What are your thoughts on how this whole NIL thing is shaking out for him? And number two, where do you kind of feel he ends up?
Um, Hang on, texting my wife.
So for
So
any,
sorry. I The whole thing is ridiculous. I mean, the NIL, you know, fueled this. And look, if he threw for 35 touchdowns and 5 picks last year, you know, that's one thing. But he threw 19 touchdowns, I think 6 picks or something like that. I
mhm,
10 or 11 of them were against East Boga Community College and Slapdick U. So
mhm,
he didn't even show up to the Ohio State game. Um, I've been following this kid's recruitment from the beginning. This isn't surprising. His dad seems like a loud talker. This is not. I mean, the NIL conversation was happening when he was coming out of high school, and talking about
mhm.
like $4 to $7 million coming from Tennessee and all this, and like, I mean, you can't have someone like that on your team.
Nope.
I don't want to say I'd be shocked if he ends up at a Power 5 school, which he's going to. He's talented. He was a 5-star quarterback. He's talented, but you know, I feel like he'd go to a program, and I couldn't even tell you where, but I think he'd go to a program that is just trying to win at all costs.
Yes. Yeah.
Watch him end up in Colorado. No, that's not gonna happen. But
No, he wouldn't take it.
how about Colorado, real quick, retiring Shador Sanders' number and Travis Hunter's number? That shit is so like just ignorantly tone deaf. Now,
Mhm,
Travis Hunter, if it was just Travis Hunter, totally fine with that. Heisman Trophy winner, unanimous All American, you know, generational type of player. I get that, but Sanders, what?
You know who did it?
Huh?
Like, you
Yeah,
know who said to do
yeah,
it.
yeah. We all know, but regardless, that quarterback situation at Tennessee is, in your 15 or your however many practices in the spring ball. I think spring ball's over with for them, but um, yeah, I don't know. Someone's gonna pick him up, and someone who's just trying to win at all costs right now. Let's take a chance on him, see what happens. Maybe new situation, new guy, you know, and doesn't cause any problems. Whatever, you never hear from him again, type of thing. But I don't have a feeling it's gonna go that way.
Agreed. So the other part, usually the main one talking about college football is always Steven. Something I've said in previous times. So last year I had season tickets for LSU because of what happened with the Detroit Lions, and then before that, fuck the Jags. I kind of moved over some onto the college football side of things. So Steven usually is the one that always invites me on trips that they end up going on in terms of different Penn State games. So I'm offering the reverse side, except Steven will have a free ticket to the game. Only thing is, we can't go to like the top notch prime game, but I'm going to list 5 schools that I've officially can say I have tickets to. And then when the season comes along, we'll be able to figure out all the details. So the one I just actually got an email from maybe an hour or two ago. So I'll have South Carolina Gamecock tickets.
Well, hang
From
on, hang
here
on,
on
hang
out.
on, hang on. All right. South Carolina. Okay. Yep.
So South Carolina, I got an email that in May I'll be able to make the decision, but I'll have Oklahoma Sooner tickets as well. Because I decided to ball out and donate enough to the school, I will have University of Texas at Austin tickets. And then I will also have Auburn tickets. And then the final one, like last year, LSU.
Oh, we're going to either Austin or Baton Rouge. Probably Austin. Yeah. Yeah. I want to go.
So
Yeah, we're gonna go to Austin, and I know some people in the area. Oh man, yeah, that's a trip right there. We're doing it.
yeah.
I'm gonna look at their schedule
So
right now. I won't even look at the top notch game. I won't even bother with that. I'll pick something else.
yeah, so I choose all the tickets. I got the dates of those in May. I'll choose my seats, and then after that, we'll be able to end up doing that. The other thing, what I can end up doing, just depending on how the season works out, I can sell almost like 2 games of it to then buy closer tickets to one of them. I just have to figure out how that all works out. Other thing is, probably people are asking, like, why are you going to end up going to some? Number one, although I sell them, I have to go to some. One, to kind of see the area, do that things. Two, if I just sell them all, they'll say I'm a ticket reseller. You know, if I'm in Japan, they'll arrest me. So I'm going to that. But then also, I genuinely love the experience that you get at college football games. I've gone to a ton of NFL games, but it's a lot different. What are you going to say?
Okay, so they open with Ohio State. That's in Columbus, though. They have San Jose
Hmm.
State, UTEP, and Sam Houston to finish up the
Yeah.
non-conference. They have OU, which is neutral site game. They have
Hmm.
Vanderbilt at home, Arkansas, and Texas A&M.
I know.
Vanderbilt would be ideal because it's probably not that bad weather-wise. November
Yeah.
1st in Austin. That's also the same day Penn State plays in Columbus against Ohio State, which I'm going to that game.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
then we can do we can plenty of time to figure this out, but I'm just thinking
We
ahead.
can. Yeah.
Arkansas, or we can brave the elements, brave the heat, go to one of the early September games. And
That I know.
I'm not opposed to that. Anyway,
So
okay.
yeah,
Anyway,
yeah.
okay. You better okay. Texas. How many tickets? Like 2? What are you talking? 2?
Two. Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
This year I did 2 because I didn't know fully what I wanted to do with it, and then I'll be able to end up getting more next year.
yep. Facts.
But so yeah, that's kind of what it is on deck. Steven was the main one I told about this. Then one of my other friends that I go to a lot of the Eagles game with, I was gonna let them know about it. But yeah, so the teams I'll be following: Auburn, Texas, Oklahoma, South Carolina, and then also LSU. If you're wondering, the common theme with them, most of them are SEC teams. So that's all you got to know about that. Um, I will look into other conferences as we go forward, but that's the main thing I wanted to bring up over there. Next thing I want to talk about is the NFL draft is next week, April 24th, 8 p.m. Steven, I don't know why this draft felt like it crept up on us fast.
I I think people aren't talking about the other guys in the draft. Like they're literally only focused on the top 4 players: Cam
Yeah.
Ward, Shador Sanders, Abdul Carter, and Travis Hunter, and like what
Hmm.
order they're going to go in. I can't remember. It seems like Cam Ward to the Titans is a lock. Um, I I don't really remember a draft where no other guys are being talked about, and there are a ton of elite players in the top half of this draft.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting. We don't know where we don't know if Cam Ward for sure is going to Tennessee. It seems that way, judging by what a lot of people are saying. But then where like Travis Hunter, Shador Sanders, Abdul Carter, like the Giants, but then like the Pats have been involved, Browns, so top 3 is going to be awesome. And then there's all other elite players in the top half of that draft, in the top 10. Penn State could have 2 top 10 picks in the draft with Abdul Carter and Tyler Warren, our tight end. So, but there's other Ashton Jeanty, running back from Boise State. There's Mason Graham, D lineman, D tackle from Michigan.
Hmm.
left tackle from LSU.
Oh, Campbell.
Yeah, Will Campbell. Another like he's a top 3 pick potential. So there's
Mm-hmm.
like there's those 4 guys everyone's been talking about. And if Shador Sanders doesn't go one of those top 4 picks, where is he going to go? Like,
Mm-hmm.
what is he? So yeah, I can't remember a draft where like the other guys were not talked about
Exactly.
as much as the top 3. I don't know if it's just the names. Who's up there? I don't know, but the last however many years, like I feel like you hear a lot of the other names, but this year just haven't heard. Even like, Ashton Jeanty, like I haven't heard his name at all.
Nope.
You hear
After
about
the
those guys.
season, nothing.
Yeah, you hear about those guys during the combine, obviously, but like after that, it's like where'd they go?
Mm-hmm.
But so that's what's going to make it kind of more interesting. Is it's like, oh yeah, I forgot about this guy. We just haven't talked about these guys in weeks, months since the
Yeah,
season.
yeah. So the other thing is they were talking about the wide receiver position on different shows I was listening to, and they say none of these wide receivers even stack up close to the wide receiver class we had last year.
No, it's a
Like,
very poor. Like there's a lot of great players, but like just in like that top half of like the first round. So it's not as it's very top heavy. There's a lot of talent in there, obviously, of course. They're first round picks for a reason because they're the best of the best. But you know what I'm saying? There's not as many like number 1 to 32 players where you can say, oh, he's either going to go, he could go top 10 potentially. Not that many guys this year.
yeah. So that's kind of the main thing we'll talk about next week. Speaking of the draft, do you have any quick thoughts on the WNBA draft? And then, so now we end up moving on to the challenge that we have in itself. So anyone remembers or recalls probably towards late February, I'm looking back at the news, late February, we ended up doing a challenge. So we usually end up doing players, and then we also do standings. Only did standings this year. So we chose 2 from the East, 2 from the West, and then kind of just totaling it. I don't even want to say who the winner is, but I'll say the teams that Steven chose for the East were the Pistons and the Heat. And for the East, I chose the Knicks and the Sixers. Steven's combined record was 81 and 83. My combined record was 75 and 89.
Wow, 81 and 83. I'll take it.
The crazy part is the one that messed it up was the Sixers.
Of course.
And I say that because the whole team decided to just get injured.
Yep.
So that's really what happened. Stevens were, what you'll learn about the picks that we end up doing with this, if you can choose teams that are going to stay afloat in the middle, you don't even have to be at the top. You have 2 teams that are in the middle pack, you're good. And that's what happened with the Heat playing team. The Pistons solidified top 6 seed. And that's what happened. Sixers, they're nowhere to be found right now. So that's the East side. Going on the West side, Steven chose the Lakers and the Mavericks.
Ooh.
So, and I chose the Grizzlies and the Suns. You can guess how this turned out just off the fun.
Right.
So,
yeah. Hey, hell yeah.
Steven's combined record was 89 and 75. Oof. My combined record was 84 and 80.
Man.
So, and again, what happened to the team that did it? The whole team just fell apart. Here's the other kicker. Number 1, Mr. Bradley Beal. You cannot be out here saying that you do not.
My bro, come on. You are a professional. You are a professional athlete. You cannot be saying shit like that. My gosh. And then
you cannot be acting like you do not want a comparison to Drew Holiday. And anyway, Drew has done nothing wrong. Drew actually has way more accolades than you do.
Catching strays.
Yeah, for no reason. And Mike Budenholzer, I know how he was saying it. He was not even saying it in a bad way. 1, he could have been telling him to play defense. 2, actually play. And the crazy part is, as much as people can hate on anything Bradley Beal does, his agent finessed the hell out of the NBA and any team that he ever goes to because he has a no trade clause. So this man gets to choose whatever he wants to. The only way to get out of that no trade clause is for the Suns to take the biggest L ever and buy him out. That's the only way they can get out of that. And the amount of money left on that contract is stupid insane. On top of that, Steven, this is the 3rd coach that the Suns have let go of. Frank Vogel, Monty Williams, and now Mike Budenholzer. Mike Budenholzer had a 5-year, $50 million contract. They cut him after the first year. So for the next 5 years, only in sports, do you get to get paid $10 million a year till 2029.
And not have a job.
And not have a job. Again, I was texting my brothers. I said, you know what? I need a freshen on my resume because I will gladly be the next head coach. Fire me after like 2 months. I will not even be upset.
Yep.
So they have him. Then David Griffin over there at Pelicans, he got fired. The greatest part about being a fired coach in any professional sport or even in college, you get paid out your contract. You can fire me after the first day. Like, I promise you, I will not even be upset. I will not call you. You can ship me my stuff. Nothing.
Oh, we're good.
So
once I get that check.
Once I get that check, I am solid. And you're telling me that's happened to numerous different coaches. Monty Williams is still getting paid. And he's not even on the team.
Happens all around
the team. So only in sports can you end up getting paid from one team while you're still on another team. And it's perfectly fine. Like, they'll just eat it on the books. You're paying for you're going to pay for 4 head coaches next year.
Teams are idiots, dude. These guys are dumb contracts.
So that's the main thing I wanted to talk about. Now I want to dive into the playoffs. So this week is going to be us talking about the playoffs and picking only the first round. Probably, we can give it like 2 weeks almost, maybe a week and a half. So 2 Tuesdays from now, we'll talk about the conference semifinals and then kind of move on. So this week, we'll talk about the playing games and then go into the first round. And I'll end up marking all this down. So the first one's on right now. Who do you have between Atlanta and Orlando?
I'll take Atlanta.
Okay, I was not expecting you to say that. I clearly have Orlando in that one. The other one that's on tonight is Golden State against Memphis.
I'm going to go with Golden State.
Okay.
I do think, though, the loss of Klay Thompson is going to be big.
Correct.
Should they make it? I don't have any confidence for them going far, but I think the loss of Klay Thompson is going to be tough. Like, I don't think Jimmy Butler knows his role yet. I don't think that team knows his role yet. But Klay Thompson, like, he only had one job.
Yeah.
So I think the loss of Klay Thompson is going to be defensively, probably not, but offensively, the consistency, I think they're going to miss that.
Mm-hmm. So I'll give you the other two, and then we'll go into the next games. So the game tomorrow, we have the Kings and the Mavericks.
I'm going to go with the Mavs.
Okay, I have the Mavs on that one as well. And then the flip side, we have the Bulls and the Heat.
Ugh. I guess I'll go with the Heat.
It's a weird game over there. So now I can kind of say my whole theory. I had this conversation with my mom and then also my brother because I was explaining to them when it was at first the 3 versus 6 matchup. If anyone remembers, at one point it was going to be potentially the Lakers and the Warriors. Told everyone around me, I said that's never going to happen. They will never let the first round be the Warriors and the Lakers. No. So as soon as I saw that happening, I said either the Warriors are going to drop to the 7, which is perfect for them because they potentially, if they play right, they can move a little bit that way, or it was going to end up being they move up. But they were never going to let it be 3 and 6 Lakers, Warriors. So with that being said, I have the Magic to end up winning against the Hawks, and I have the Warriors to end up beating the Grizzlies. So what that would then do would be the Warriors to play the Rockets. Any team can win in that series. Then on the other side, you have the Bulls and the Heat. Honestly, these two teams just find ways to make it. I have more trust in the Heat, although I don't really have a lot of trust in either. Jaime Jaquez did just end up putting up 40 plus, so congrats to him on that one. Kings, Mavs, I see the Mavs winning that, but then I see the Grizzlies beating the Mavs. I don't necessarily see the Mavs end up doing anything, which then will put the Grizzlies against the Thunder, the Rockets against the Warriors, and then you have Nuggets, Clippers, Lakers, T-Wolves. On the other side, you have the Cavs, who would then go up against the winner of the 2 games, and then you have the Celtics, who would then play the Magic or the Hawks. So kind of going into the East side, we'll start on the Cavs against whoever. Who do you think is going to win that series?
Cavs in 5.
So I have the Cavs as well in that one. The next one we'll just go straight down the line. Pacers, Bucks.
Bucks in 6.
So if anyone has seen the odds, I know a lot of times you all don't want to take risks. I'd throw at least $100 on this one. You're telling me you have the Pacers to beat the Bucks?
Nope.
Giannis can get you out the first round. Like
Yeah.
he might not be able to do anything after that, but Giannis, Kuz, they can give you at least a first round pass. So I got the Bucks in that one. The next one, the Knicks and Pistons.
Pistons in 7.
Really?
Squad the hell up, dude. Fuck off, New York.
Really? Okay. So
I think this is gonna be Cade Cunningham's true coming out party.
mm-hmm.
No one's really watched the Pistons all year. They know what they're doing, but people haven't watched the Pistons. I mean, obviously they haven't been on TV, of course, but I think this is gonna be Cade Cunningham's coming out party, like season at the Garden. Yeah, I think he's got a chance to really kind of do something special here. So I'm gonna go Pistons in 7.
Okay, I can see that. So I have the Knicks, but that's only because of where my roots actually lie. Can't go too far away from that. But if anyone has not heard Twitter or the news, Pistons are blocking outside fans from coming to like some of the games over there, which I don't think is a bad idea. I think that's good for the area, so you can end up having more Pistons there. Only thing that does scare me some is if their prices are anything like how the Lions prices were in the playoffs, good night. The last one you have is the Celtics against whoever.
Celtics.
But
And
the Celtics,
I'll go Celtics in 4.
I can believe that. I don't think there's a team that really would give them a test. Going on the other side, Warriors against whoever. I mean, sorry, Thunder against whoever.
Thunder.
So I would say the Thunder, but I will say if it's the Grizzlies, I can see like Thunder and I don't know 5. I don't think that West is going to be a sweep for any of them. If there is, I'm surprised. Probably my favorite series in terms of just from a solely basketball perspective, Nuggets and Clippers.
That's going to be a great series.
Yeah.
I think there's health issues in both series. I mean, Kawhi looks healthy, so
He was good last
like
game.
he's playing great. Like that team is. So I think that makes me lean towards the Clippers.
Mm-hmm.
Jamal Murray, don't know what his health status is, but they have Jokic. So like, I think it would take something pretty like spectacular for him to like carry that team to the past them. Probably more than like what Giannis would have to do against the Pacers, but I think he can do it. I'm going to go with the Clippers though. I'll go Clippers in 7. I think that's going to be a really long series. Clippers in 7 though.
So the way they laid out the West, it has the makings for it to be a battle of LA in the conference finals.
Yeah.
Like, so I honestly think the Thunder will be tough, but if the Clippers can get out of this series, just put Kawhi on Shea and you should be fine. Zubac has come a long way from when we first saw him till now. He's come a long way. Harden can still lead you and give you buckets whenever it's needed. Nolan Powell is nice, and he can just play his own. They have Terrence Mann as well. So they have all the pieces over there to do whatever is needed. Nuggets, I don't know how much this whole head coach thing is going to impact them.
Yeah, that's tough too.
That's the only thing I have to think about. I do have the Clippers in this one. The next one, you have Luka and LeBron against the Timberwolves.
Look, man, Rory Mcllroy, career grand slam, NBA Jam, green eggs and ham, Lakers in 5.
That's all you got to say.
Lakers in 5.
I went to the casino this weekend with like 4 of my friends, and when we were there, I randomly was like, Patti LaBelle, Tinkerbell, Liberty Bell, Lakers in 5. And then one of my friends was like, what the hell are you talking about? But my other friend, Rashad, he knew exactly what I was talking about. So I had to send him the video. He was like, you're telling me Unc's been doing this? I was like, yeah, but here's the thing. It really can happen. Like, I don't see.
First of all, I think we should recognize who started the Lakers in 5 thing.
Yeah.
Your boy started that. I started that shit 5 years ago.
Been saying it for a minute.
No one's looking at me for memes. It's a shame, dude. It's a shame.
At all. So I have the Lakers in that one. You can't really go any other way. it's crazy because some people online were saying, look at the bench of both of them. It doesn't really matter. Like you're gonna have Luka or LeBron on the court at a point in time. As long as you can make sure that they don't get in foul trouble, you're fine. Which they don't really get in foul trouble, so I don't know what you're talking
Dude,
about there. Only thing you have to worry about is, are they going to be able to expose Luka the way the Celtics did?
you have like you don't need LeBron or Luka to go off one game because you can have one of them go off and the other one have like 22, 9 and 6.
Mm-hmm.
But or you can have both of them go off for a casual 35, 40, 10 and 8 and the other one drops 25, 13 and 8. I think it's more going to be that. I
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just think that this duo is like Luka's been there, done that, man. Like he took them to the finals last year. He averaged 39 and 6 in the finals.
Yep.
And he did it all season. I mean, all playoffs. So I think it's gonna be a pick your poison. People will go, LeBron's 40. Yeah. So the fuck does that mean?
I know.
Like he's still dogging it. And the playoffs, I mean, again, we've talked about it before. I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. The playoff basketball is drastically different than the regular season. And Luka and LeBron seem, I don't think anyone should have any questions about this team.
No.
I know the Knicks have Julius Randle. He's been playing great. I know we know what Anthony Edwards can do. They're playing well. The seed, 6 seed, they struggled in the second half of the season, but Rudy Gobert. Look, I get it. They have good pieces, but LeBron and Luka too much. Too much.
I agree. The final one, Rockets against whoever.
Rockets, I guess. Yeah, sure. It depends. If they play the Warriors, I think the Warriors could get them.
I was thinking that.
But like, there's only. I mean, how many teams out of the West do you trust? Lakers, Clippers, Nuggets, potentially the Warriors, depending on what version. Depending on what version of the Warriors we get. I know OKC, who is who they are. I can't like. Again, the experience factor in the playoffs. Yeah, I don't like Shea can go off for 40, but like, what about the rest of the team? Like, it's different when you get to the playoffs. East, yeah, dude, I don't trust anybody outside of the Celtics and the Cavs. But yeah, I mean, how many teams? Like the Warriors are one of those teams. And Jimmy Butler, he's been there, done that as well. I mean, we know what playoff Jimmy can do. So I do trust
the Warriors. You just got to win 4.
Huh?
You just have to win 4.
Yeah, and I know what he can do. If we get that version of the Warriors, I think they can make a run too. But yeah, I don't trust anybody else. I don't trust the Rockets. I don't trust the Thunder. I don't trust the Kings. I don't trust the Mavs. I don't any of those teams. But those middle 3 teams, Lakers, Nuggets, and the Clippers, yeah, I think any of those teams would smoke the East
easily. So my reason for bringing that up, it reminds me of someone running a sprint and a marathon, and the Thunder and the Rockets clearly both won the 100-meter, 200-meter, but then you have the Nuggets, Clippers, Lakers, Warriors. They know you got to pace yourself. Why are you going to tire yourself out during the regular season when you got the playoffs? All of those teams have someone on them that has won a championship, if not the whole team.
Yep.
So they already know what it takes. Why get the number 1 seed when you're going to have at least 2 to 3 games at home? So that's all you really got to do. If you even need that, because any of those star players can go off on the road.
Yep.
And then that's it. So that's the main thing there. Before we segue it over to the what you got, I do want to talk about the Masters really quick, and that will kind of lead into Steven. So number 1, a lot of people ask me about what are my thoughts on the Masters, what are my thoughts on NHL, and before I even say anything, I always have to say I got to look at the odds, or I have to look at certain people who they're not talking about. So one of the guys at work, Landon, he and I were talking about the Masters a lot. He had the homie Brooks. I was like, I don't know why, but I'm going to just use Justin Rose. When I tell you, I almost cashed out when Rory started choking. And then I was messaging Landon like, I really thought this was going to happen. And then Rory said, you know what? I just decided to give y'all a little bit of funny time, but I'm going to come through with it. So what are your thoughts on everything that happened with the Masters?
So I've been playing golf since I was 9. Like I love the game of golf. I think this was I don't know why. Actually, I do know why, and I'll get to that. This was the most anticipated Masters I can remember in a very long time.
Wow.
Even with Tiger Woods in it in 2019, it got more and more anticipated. But golf needed this one. I think, especially coming out the heels of March Madness and the Final Four, and what that produced for us in terms of the calendar year and the sports events, the Masters. Dude, it was 70 and sunny every fucking day down in Augusta. It was.
Beautiful.
I knew so many people that were there. I knew so many people that were there. It was crazy. Group chats are flying off left and right. The Masters app, dude, was phenomenal.
Crazy.
Like everything about it was just like golf needed this one. And then there was a lot of big names that missed the cut, but the guys that made the cut, dude, how much of it did you get to watch?
I watched a good amount of the final day and then Friday.
Okay. That's great. Friday, everyone started turning it on. And the conditions were perfect. These dudes were hitting incredible shots. Even the guys who were who barely made the cut, they were doing well heading into the weekend. And then, man, golf needed the live guy and Bryson DeChambeau versus the PGA OG and Rory Mcllroy. The storyline was there. They're not the best of friends. You had the former fan favorite in Bryson DeChambeau go to live, and the kind of people kind of wrote him off, and now he kind of became a fan favorite towards the end of round 3 on Saturday. Made a long birdie putt, gave him some momentum, but Rory fucking killed it on Friday and Saturday.
He did.
And he was kind of more stoic about it, just kept his head down and went about his business. So it was a little different with him, but golf needed that, the overnight conversation of McIlroy and DeChambeau in the final pairing on Sunday at Augusta, 70 and sunny all day. But the Justin Rose, who was leading in the first couple rounds, Scotty Scheffler was up there. There's tons of big names up there. And then it just started with a double bogey for McIlroy, and it was shit, here we go. And his struggles have been documented. He was going for the Grand Slam, which is to win all 4 majors. It would have been him. Now it's only him and Tiger in the last 50 years of guys to do so, which is incredibly impressive. People don't give McIlroy enough credit because he hasn't won in a while, and he always chokes. So, but it took him 11 years to finally get the Grand Slam. So good for him on that. But back 9 was nuts, dude. Back 9 was fucking incredible. It was unbelievable golf. Those guys were hitting on that golf course. If anyone knows golf, you don't have to be a diehard fan to know how difficult it is for these guys to play Augusta with the hills, the greens. It's crazy. But these guys were hitting incredible shots. McIlroy shot on number 15. It was a par 5. He hit his second shot and started walking after it. Knew it was there, and then he almost blew it with a couple misses. Justin Rose, the boy, he made the phenomenal putt on 18. But golf needed this. Golf needed it. It was very, very important for golf to have this because it seemed like it was kind of falling off. But I think a big thing about it is there was no Tiger Woods. And in my personal opinion, I don't think anyone in the history of sports has ever had a stranglehold on a sport like Tiger Woods has in golf.
Yes.
You can talk about Michael Jordan. You can talk about whoever you want to. And I'm not diminishing what anybody else did for that sport, but what Tiger Woods did for golf in the late 90s, heading into the 2000s, was if you go down all the guys who are in the Masters, if you talk to 100 PGA guys and you ask them why they got into golf, I would say not all of them, but I would say a very, very healthy percentage would say Tiger Woods. That's the reason why I got into golf in 2000 or whatever. Literally the first golf thing I went to was a Tiger Woods golf clinic. Video games, the clothes, the style of play. Dude, golf for the longest time was just, wasn't all white dudes, but it was a predominantly old white dude sport. And you knew about Jack Nicklaus, Arnold Palmer, but that
was it, yeah.
That was it, man. And me, diehard golf fan that I am, I knew about other guys, obviously, but Tiger Woods was that dude. And no one dominated a sport like Tiger Woods dominated golf in the late 90s and early 2000s to 2008. Just fucking dominated. And every tournament he's in, even now, it's like the whole week is spent talking about Tiger Woods. So I think him not being there, this double-edged sword and kind of a blessing in disguise. I think him not being there, and we knew he wasn't going to be there like a month ago. He tore his Achilles out for the year. There's no chance he's playing. So like that was well before the Masters. I think it gave everybody, casual fans or not, I think it gave everybody a chance to find someone else to root for. Whether it was Scotty, I mean, people know who these guys are. The game of golf is where it is because of Tiger, but like there's so many elite guys on the PGA Tour, Live, whatever, so many combined elite golfers. And I think, it gave people the opportunity to pick someone else to just watch. Cause like, and there's also like the dark cloud that hangs over the viewership when Tiger Woods is there. Cause it starts off, group chats are flying around. Tiger is -2 through 8 holes and he gets to 10 and it just falls apart, misses the cut. And you're like, well, shit. Like there it goes. And then it's like, I'm still going to watch, but like, I'm not as invested as I was. Dude, I was fucking glued to the TV Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We sat on the couch as a family, the last 10 holes or so, and watched it on the couch. Like the kids were into it. Like we were hanging on every shot, man, because, there was no Tiger. So it was like, you can just enjoy it. You could just sit there and enjoy some of the best golf I have ever seen. And I don't know if it was because Tiger wasn't there, but that was some of the best golf that I've seen. And if you look at Twitter, you look at the ratings, that was the highest rated 12.7 million viewers, highest in I think 9 years or 7 years, they said. Like, because there were so many people like, oh, Tiger's not in here. All right, well, I can just watch it and just enjoy it. And they, it came through. It was the best Masters in a long time. It went to a fucking playoff, dude. You can't ask for like the drama with Rory and the storyline, choking all the time. You're like, you missed that putt on 18. You're like, oh my God, it's happening again. And then for him to walk off, like after everyone thought he was gonna make that putt to win it, have to walk off the way you would walk off after you won. Everyone's like, how do we like we clap? I guess we clap for him, but like he just like he kind of just blew it almost. So then you got to go walk through that crowd, but then 40 minutes later, you're walking through that crowd as the Masters champion. And fucking good for Rory. Shout out to Rory. Like big time, man. Big time. Like he finally did it, and he's in an elite category of guys who have won all 4 majors. It's just him and Tiger the last 50 years. So it took him a long time, but I'm happy for him. I was rooting for him. So good for him. But like golf needed that. And like golf needed a big name to win too.
Yeah.
Like we needed, like there's not going to be another Tiger Woods. This isn't, I don't think this is like the start of something, in some elite run for Rory. Maybe it is, but they just like golf needed a weekend like this where it was anybody's game. And it usually is, but like you have a feeling with Tiger when he's in it, you're just waiting for like another 2019 moment to happen. And we're getting further and further away from that actually happening. So I think blessing in disguise, this happening when it did, Tiger being out, again, it gave fans an opportunity to pick someone new and find someone new and follow along. So I think it was, I love golf. My kids loved it. It was awesome. Like we watched it. I had some of the boys over to watch it. It was good. Again, golf needed it. It was elite golf. Even if you're a casual fan and watch that, like that was the best one. That was one of the best tournaments, best Masters I've seen in a very long time.
Yeah. So only other thing, it's so funny because everyone knows I've been traveling a lot to Sweden. So there's certain names I see. I'm like, oh, I know this from like Ludwig Olberg.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, Swedish. And then the other one, Rasmus Holgog. I was like, oh, Danish. Because I'm seeing these signs all the time. And it's just crazy how you look at what the total purse is, Steven, and then what the amount that they get. Like Rory's walking home with 4.2 million. And then if you just made the cut and then you just wet the bed, you're walking home with around 52K.
Yeah, you can get up in the 6 figures, dude. Like, yeah, if you finish dead last and after making the cut, you're still making bank, like 52 grand.
Yeah.
Like I know today's economy, I know the world is going to shit, but like 52 grand for playing 72 holes of golf. Like I'm not going to come close to winning. Yeah, sign me up, dude.
You can come in 36th place
up,
and you get 6 figures for coming in 36th place.
Whew.
No way. So it just shows you if your child can't end up playing baseball, make sure that they go into golf. One of the two, you're going to be fine. If then you want to have like concussion and different things like that, then you can go into another sport. But the only thing that I would say I have is more so like a big thank you to everyone that's been tuning in, listening to the different
Shout out.
episodes that we can end up putting out. I've noticed just with the engagement stuff, a lot of people have been doing. Other than that, I don't really have anything. Steven, do you?
That was it.
We up.